Hello from Turkey. Actually, not from Estonia this time because we have a little bit mixed thing work and vacation and work. And here is our fifth chapter of Email Marketing Chronicles podcast. And this time our guest is Adele. So, Adele is from Canada. I know her start our blog. All the first smiley blog posts are from the golden hands of Adele. But now she's in the financial business, and this time we will ask huge amount of question how actually financial services and email marketing going along together. So let's start with something. You have first question.
I have the first question, but my first question is actually not about financial marketing or email marketing. My first question is that why do you love email marketing?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
I know.
I don't know, maybe the adrenaline of it, right? When you send emails, you get this adrenaline rush that you're like, oh, this hitting send button is probably, it's very stressful, but it's also very fun. And it's not boring. Email is always exciting and challenging, and there's always something new coming, and even coding and hands-on and finding hacks for our beloved Outlook. It's really cool. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, the adrenaline rush when you are pushing the button send out, and after 10 minutes you are
discovering a mistake.
Wow, that was huge mistake in the pronouncing of some things.
Imagine that. That's why I think there aren't a lot of email marketers. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Okay, so, this was your absolutely out of the blue question, not what I have here written.
I know. But you can start with actual questions.
All right. We have huge amount of them. I sent you only a couple of. We have 67, 7.
Okay, the triple digits.
Actually, okay. Let's starting from the basics. What type of marketing emails, whatever emails, transactional emails, the financial services industry using? Okay, yeah, I know banks sending their just once in a month some news that Euribor went twice a high, or something changed, or stocks are falling somewhere very low, etc., etc.
Yeah, you will unfortunately see a lot of dry content and dry emails in the financial services industry. But I think financial services has changed so much in recent years, and you'll see lots of new fintech companies appearing and gaining speed. So they're disrupting the industry, not just in a product perspective, but also the way they do marketing, and what kind of emails they're sending, and bringing a lot of fresh ideas, fresh look and feel, which is awesome. So in turn, it's not just them trying to, I guess, do better with the content and email marketing in general, but they, everybody tries to kind of jump on and try new things, which is great. So yeah, you'll see a lot of transactional and regulatory emails that you have to send, but you'll also see much more of diversified content, like newsletters and content that's being presented in a consumer friendly way, for financial services. So yeah, you'll see more and more of that, I think.
Okay.
But you said that usually the emails are pretty dry. Is it because of the banks try to keep their branding, or is it possible to actually change the tone of voice for the emails and make it more appealing?
So it will depend, I guess, on what type of company it is. But a lot of this dryness and formality comes from regulations and what you can or cannot say, because everything you say kind of needs to be triple checked. And you'll see lots of emails where disclaimers in small print isn't bigger than the message itself. So it's, if you, it can be so that if you're saying a word, it will trigger, 3 additional disclaimers in the bottom of the email. So you'd want to say it in a cool way, in a trendy way, but then you'll know that your disclaimers are going to grow like 3-fold. So, yay. I'd say a lot of that is based on regulations. There's obviously a lot of, tone of voice, as you say, like formality. Like if I'm a big brand, I'm probably talking in a more official way and formal way to our customers because that's how we talk to them. But there will be a lot of, as I said, lots of fintech companies that are, the tone of voice is really down to earth and very friendly, and they're not trying to establish themselves as like this big formal bank, but they're kind of your friend in your financial journey. So it's going to be a different type of communications.
Yeah, probably if you're thinking, if you are, I don't know, Swiss Credit or Barclay from London, and then your email is like, yo, dudes, let's have some fun.
It won't fit the
Mhm.
overall.
Sounds like a Wolf of no, what was the movie called? Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're thinking all those new fintech companies like from Estonia, this Wise, and what we have here in the Baltics, Revolut, etc., etc. Probably if they are, if you are thinking about their image and tone of voice, they can be, or they are a little bit like more easygoing than all those huge corporate banking companies who have like 300 years of history behind them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned that there are a lot of regulations and everything. Do you know if actually there are some institutions that are actually checking out the emails to see if you have made any mistakes in them?
I wouldn't say actively checking, like from external perspective, but a lot of, from what I see, a lot of that is based on, maybe more of complaints from customers. So if somebody, receives an email that, they don't particularly like from, I don't know, whatever point of view, or don't feel that it's accurate or misleading, so they have places to go and kind of complain, and then I think that could trigger. But also there are audits that are happening in the industry quite regularly from the company perspective. So various regulatory requirements that they want to, for example, check recent marketing campaigns or recent emails. So there is a lot of that too, but it's not like actively checking every single email. It's going to be, regular once in a while, and probably more customer initiated too.
Okay, but do you know if the complaint rate for financial marketing is higher than any other type of other sectors?
Well, if you're talking about abuse complaints, it's probably very depending on your marketing tactics. If you are, more of a spammy side and actually sending way too many emails where your segments aren't well aligned with what you're saying, then as in any other industry, I feel, you will get more abuse complaints or spam complaints. But if you're conducting your email marketing in a well-behaved manner, you know what you're sending, to whom you're sending, your spam complaints will be low. And I'd say maybe more on that side, because in financial services, companies are usually trying to be, on the good side of email marketing, and behave and have all those disclaimers and everything.
But is it okay? We'll talk about regulations, general manner, etc. But you have been in email marketing industry so long Before finance, you was in the cars, tires, etc. So, and if you are thinking now, the financial services, leasing, loans, whatever, and all those others, don't you feel, as you said, that there are many regulations? Don't you feel that actually I can't be creative and I have to do this try thing? Or there is any way you can do something that it will be interesting, not just, all right,
Yeah.
next email goes out.
It's so true. 10 years ago, let's say, it would have been, the financial services landscape and email marketing would have been so much more boring, let's say. Because you have to, even the emails were so much more blockier, right? And people would be using Outlook Lotus Notes. And also, if you're in B2B or B2C, if you're in B2B, that's even, worse if you're very creative and you're all, restrained. Now I'm in Spring Financial, and it's so much more fun as an email marketer. If I had to compare to what I've been doing 10 years ago, we are a company that is very friendly to our customers. We're there to help them and guide them and be a part of their financial journey. So our emails are friendly. We have a lot of educational content. And as an email marketer, there's you are restricted in a way, but still there's so much more you can do than you could have 10 years ago. But obviously I took breaks from financial services. I had to do other industries and try out other things, and you're like, okay, I can go back to financial services again.
Like you have new fresh ideas for that.
For sure.
But is it more challenging to do financial services versus something other?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I get why a lot of email marketers move away from financial services, email marketing. So yeah, and in order to do emails well, you have to understand, the compliance side of it. All the, the language you can or cannot use. You have to like disclaimers, they will be there. So you have to, if there aren't any disclaimers, you need to be worried. Where are my disclaimers? Where's my small print? It's but it's still fun. You get used to it. You see the good side of it. I see the side of it. Like, I'm helping people with my emails. I'm helping my customers. Somebody has to be there to kind of fill the space, and email marketing is very important in financial services industry. So I'm happy to kind of be that bridge between the customer and the company on the email perspective.
Okay.
You said that it is much more fun than it used to be. Can you maybe bring a few examples of what has been like some of those most funniest, maybe not funniest, but most fun emails that you have been sending out to your customers?
Sure. So from Spring Financial perspective, when we sit down and think of what type of content, what type of emails we should be sending to our customers, we always feel like, what can we give back to them? So it's aside from all those transactional emails and dry, say statement-y or things like that. But what can we do to make it better for them? So I think one of the emails that I'm very, very proud of was the financial calendar. It sounds so exciting, financial calendar. Yay. But no, it's actually very, very fun. It's a monthly email that we send to our audience, and it kind of last day of the month usually, to kind of tell them what's going to happen the next month. So whether it's a big spending month, let's say, back to school fun, spending is coming, or, Halloween or something, and you kind of say watch, budget your money, kind of help them to kind of prepare for the month. And plus you outline all the important dates, like any interest rates announcements that are coming if you're watching your mortgage, any tax deadlines, or I know it could, like, for outsiders, sounds, oh, how exciting, you're outlining tax deadlines days, what a fun email. But in fact, it's very, very useful. While it's not like very trendy, and you won't have anything really cool in there, but all these dates are so beneficial, like benefit, rebate dates, these, it really was well accepted in the audience, and I heard so much positive feedback. So I was like, yes, this works. Maybe and then educational content that we like to send out, like explaining financial terms in a very user-friendly way, because financial services is difficult, like all these products, and let's say type of credit cards, and what is debt consolidation, for example, like understanding all these terms that if you understand them, it's easier to navigate the space as a consumer, right? So if we're sending less salesy emails, more educational emails, we're helping our customers kind of navigate and be prepared for their financial journey. So I really like those.
And it kind of makes sense too, because like as a consumer, I would not actually go and Google all those terms, because it sounds so boring. I don't, but maybe you want to Google them. But if they actually come to my mailbox, then I do read them because it's interesting.
Exactly. If you're considering, like, you want to take a loan or you want to take a credit card, there are different types of credit cards. What is better for you? And if it's presented in a user-friendly way and not like, what is this? It's not like a dry definition, but it's kind of pros and cons. Like, if you get this, this is what you get. If you go for this, then that's what you should consider. Like buy now, pay later plans. People like that, but have they thought about pros and cons about that? So it's kind of, this is where we feel as a company we can step in and kind of guide the customers throughout their kind of choices that they make.
Okay, so you can have a great challenge even if you are thinking that the industry where you are working is like a little bit dry.
Yes, you can.
So you told that there are different clients. Some of them want to get a loan, some of them want to get a credit card. So do you do some kind of segmentation in financial marketing as well?
So I think every company in financial services, they have to rely on their data and segments. So in Spring Financial, we do a lot of segmentation, a lot of targeting. It's all based on what you're sending and whom you want to target, whether you're targeting leads, or you're talking to an existing customer, returning customer, a new customer, a person who dropped off the application, sooner or later. Everything ends up in how you create your segments and what kind of message you send. So I'm sure that everybody in the industry is not blanket sending to all.
But now it's like extremely cool, say that we are doing this micro segmentation and hyper personalization. Actually, our Erki will talk in Lithuania in October about that.
Oh.
So is this like that exactly you are doing this segmentation? I don't know, you split them, as I said, micro segmentation. So it's, I don't know, you are looking like let's just imagine you have 100,000 clients, and then you split them to the groups, I don't know, 5-10 people, and you are like monitoring, personalizing, etc., etc. So you are sending out 5,000 emails personalized for everyone. No? Yes.
That sounds so cool. I say personalization is very different, and this micro segmentation is very different in financial services. So if I was a fashion retailer, I could send an email like, based on your browsing or shopping habits, I recommend shoes with, red soles or something, right? So it's so much more, front end that I could use different visuals that kind of attract you. In financial services, I think a lot of that is happening in the back end, in the background. So let's say you are a customer and you just got a new product. So we do need to send something that is timely for you, that has, let's say, your next payment dates that are, your payment dates and not blanket payment dates. So your term, your document link. So it's all personal to you and unique to you. So a lot of this is, this segmentation is happening through like AMP script, dynamic fields, merge tags, triggers and journey splits, and so on and so forth. That may not look as like, oh, these emails aren't necessarily personalized, but a lot of them are in the back end, so that it's like it's a template, but it shows the content that's relevant to you. May not say like, because you got a loan, this is what you may like potentially, because it's more of like a e-com thing. But yeah, there's a lot of the segmentation, even micro segmentation based on different triggers and actions that people take. If you want to change your address, you are expecting a confirmation that you've changed your address in, somewhere on a portal, let's say, right? So all these things have to be timely and segmented, and you won't send, hey, the customer changed an address to all, right? So it's all, triggered and targeted.
Okay.
If I would ask you like the percentage of how many triggered emails do you send out and how many manual emails do you send out, and do you know like what's the percentage for both?
I'd say like work-wise 50-50. There's a lot of triggers. I wouldn't even tell you how many triggers we have. We have a lot of triggers, and we do send a lot of annual campaigns too, based on if, let's say, a seasonality, if there's something, like a long weekend coming up, or again, we decide, oh, we should, talk about a topic that helps our customers because we see a lot of questions coming up that's not necessarily automated, but would be fitting to a wider audience. So that is already a manual campaign that you kind of work and create, or a newsletter, promoting recent blog topics, could be also kind of a manual campaign. Yeah, say
Okay.
50-50.
We talked about all these challenges. It was regulations. Now we have one more challenge, or actually it's not a challenge, but security and privacy. So, and we talked about also the personalization. I remember it was in UK or somewhere when, or maybe it's a rumor, but it was like this, that the husband didn't even know that his wife is pregnant, but the wife got already email about that. Oh yeah, go buy your next baby things from Harrods or whatever. And actually, I remember it was like 10 plus years ago in Estonia when first some big retail store used also this purchase history logic, and they sent probably the stocking or something to the woman, and then it was like a huge hoax that, wow, how they did know that I wanted this type or this type. So, and in banking, this privacy and security is even more strict because there is all the financial information. Are you in debt? Are you not? How much you will get paid, etc., etc., etc.
Yes, you are correct. One thing I'd say is probably these examples are from a while back, and I think more and more customers are waiting for more like personalized and behavior triggered emails. if they are like in let's say an e-com, I would expect abandoned cart email if I abandon the cart, right? So the shopping habits and email habits are being formed. But in financial services, you are right. There's a lot of privacy, data privacy, security concerns, and it all starts from a person joining a company. It has to be in the mindset of every person. There's a lot of training that needs to happen to kind of inform and train the team members to understand how important things, your actions that you take are, how you share your files, what links you are clicking, what links you shouldn't be clicking, what emails are are spam or fishy emails. So there it starts from there. Then if you go into email marketing space, there are things like manage your users and user permissions. Don't make sure there are no like redundant users left, who has access, who don't have access. Then making sure your CRM and ESP are talking well and correct data is passed. If you're sending a link, that links are secure. You have your disclaimers in your emails. Yay. Everything is kind of, whatever you do, you have to think about it. Like, how would you feel if you were a consumer, and how would you want the person handling your data to handle your data, right? So
Yeah, I want your email, but I don't want that you track opens and clicks.
we'll opt out of tracking. But to be honest, I feel this is where the industries are going with the new tech developments. If you take Apple, like, no tracking, we'll take
Yep.
all the things off. So I think it will become more and more challenging for everybody in the marketing space too.
Okay, if we are going to e-commerce space, then it's maybe a little bit easier to track conversions. Okay, I sent the email to you, and let's say during 1 week you made a purchase. How you, yeah, okay, probably in the financial services also, I sent you an email, I couldn't track what you looked in my web page, but after 2 months you came in and I want to buy a house. Will I get the loan? Probably the more goes all those regulation about the privacy, or more technology goes this way, that you can with one click, like, don't track nothing. So the and then the actual metrics goes only conversions.
Yeah, conversions are very important. There's like two layers of it. So like email engagement, your opens, your clicks, your unsubs, what you want to track as an email marketer, just to see the email bit itself. But conversions are, very important. That's like this extra layer that gets, okay, opens versus conversions, clicks versus, conversions. Like, how many people do you convert who click on a link? How many drop off the page? So this tracking needs to go, like, extend to your landing page, or, your other funnels that happen after emails being sent, that are, giving much more insight. That said, things like reading time, that's awesome. And I hope these things don't like go away with the changes of, of the tracking being removed.
But from here, interesting questions. Yeah, okay. If you're thinking all those different, we talked about e-commerce, financial services, and conversions, but how you will measure then when your email is newsletter with the big words news? So your email only point is to educate. You can't, the opens and click rates are absolutely rubbish, and there is nothing to convert. You are giving the knowledge. How you will measure this then?
Well, first, let's say you're sending to a blog post about something educational. That blog post, it doesn't well, it shouldn't be siloed from any other call to action the customer needs to make after reading the blog post. So if, let's say, your blog post is explaining benefits of a credit card, you read it through, it's awesome, I learned, and then there should be a call to action to get a card, let's say, right? So the tracking, let's say we do have tracking, that let's say you have a source email that is being carried through to the page and to the conversion to the application, and then we just see that there were additional steps, but the source was still an email, that educational email with big flashy news, right? So we still capture that conversion. It takes longer and additional steps. And also that educational email doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have any other CTA in there. You could have a box and say, by the way, if you're looking for a product ABC, we're here for you. So together with this educational content, you include, like, we are the company that gives you this product. So you can have both ways. So it's a direct and then educational.
Okay, I want to dig more deeper.
Oh.
So actually, Adela, let's forget that in the moment you are in the financial industry, just as a email marketing professional. So let's take, I don't know, I'm talking about environmental catastrophes or whatever, and there is nothing to track, no CTAs. I'm just spreading the information. I'm just thinking that, yeah, everything what you can convert to money or some measurable action, it's understandable, but probably there are some amount of information what you are sharing with this idea that actually you don't get any direct benefits back. So and if all this tracking logic and the clicks opens, it's irrelevant, then do you think it's like, I don't know, why I send them, maybe nobody sees it?
Well,
It's just so theoretical question, but if we are looking forward and forward and forward to the future and listening this privacy, this is why I wanted to dig deep.
I would say every email should still have a call to action. Email, it's not a blog. It should not have all the content that you would potentially put on a page. So in any case, that you'd want them to read more and learn more about it. Let's say you brought an environmental catastrophe topic, right? So, I do see lengthier emails coming back, kind of blog posty, like with lots of content in there. But there's still lots of restrictions for that, like, Gmail being, cutting off lengthy emails and things like that. So it's in your best interest to make your emails shorter and lead people to a page explaining your particular topic. And from there, you can say, like, donate to a charity, to help prevent this, topic. So yeah, it doesn't. So even if you don't have opens or your clicks aren't measured, but you will see, your page behavior and your page metrics later on.
Okay.
Well, my question about conversion was that how long usually is the conversion time? For example, if you send out an email which has a blog post about credit cards, and then do people actually go to apply for a credit card immediately, or does it take like more time from them?
So it depends on the product, right? So in Spring Financial, we are in a personal loan space. So it's a different type of product. It could be lengthier. Credit card is more instant, very B2C. You'll get a card, sign up, very, very, very quick. For loan, it depends again on on a customer, whether you're shopping around and just comparing rates for your loan, or I've decided I want to take a loan. I'm looking for speed. So conversion could be in a day if your processes allow that, like internally, all the checks and things like that. But it could also, depending on the product, you could take take a week or a month, if depending on the persona too. Like if I'm shopping around and just looking, I'm not necessarily into signing up right now. So it will you'll need to nurture the lead to get to the place. Hey, we're here for you. We check all your boxes that you're looking for. But if you're like, I need money now, let me sign up. I'm going to give you all my documents. So, it could take from a day, like as short as a day. So it all depends.
Okay. I also have one question about the previous topic, which is personalization. The question is that, is there any regulations in your company where there is a limit, like from which moment it becomes creepy? In the sense that it comes maybe creepy if the email says that, hey, you have like 1,000 euros on your bank account, or maybe something else, like which is like the creepy limit.
Oh yeah, no, we're not doing any creepy stuff. I think so, at least. It's more of like, again, for me, it's more of this regulatory content that you have to like let you know if you're, let's say you're getting a loan, then you want to get that level of detail, like confirmation email, like what loan, for how long, when do I need to pay it off, like what is my payment date. So I think this level of personalization it's a must have. It's not a creepy thing. And plus you think like if you connect your bank account with a let's say a company that you wanting to get a product of, it doesn't mean that you're giving all the access to your bank account. Like companies do not see a lot of things that you see in your banking, online banking, for example. They might only be able to see the last statements, just so that you wouldn't have to manually export them. Like it does that for you, but it doesn't mean that we can creep out and say like, hey, you bought this item, you should budget. So,
but
this is extremely creepy.
I actually heard that if you upload a bank statement and they see that you have been to casino, then you don't get a loan. Is that true or false?
Yeah.
I am not a compliance officer or a loan
But actually,
agent,
yeah, there is like from one hand they are looking a lot, because I know even that if you are buying too often lottery tickets, they may ask, why? Do you have some problems? Exactly. Yeah.
Do you?
Nope.
No, I think it's every country is different, and these, let's say if you're getting a credit card, a line of credit, a bank loan, they have their own internal rules of making a person qualify for it or not qualify for it. But yeah, I think it's just the balance of your earnings and your spendings more than like what you are buying. I don't think that anybody would say like, you bought three lottery tickets. Again, we're going to the creepy side of things. So it
probably depends.
I think it depends. I'm sure there are countries and big banks that are very careful on every line. But yeah, I cannot confirm or deny.
Very polite answer. So we have one question here. We talked about this conversions, clicks, opens, etc. We have one question. So what key metrics actually financial services companies should focus on their email marketing campaigns?
Okay.
Yeah, is it only the conversions, or you
No.
still looking all those things?
Yeah. I love my opens. I know people dislike open rates, but I really
Yeah,
like my
you're
open
all
rates.
the LinkedIn like full of that. Don't
I
look
know
those
there's like
open rates.
there's
Ah.
yeah, no bad opens. No, opens are good. It doesn't necessarily mean that like they're super accurate. They never were very accurate. Like you could always open an email and not trigger that open if you open without images on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was never 100% accurate. Okay, now the percentage of inaccuracy is higher, but if you keep on monitoring, your opens will still tell you whether it's successful, like people are opening, or it's less than usual. So, you get to say like, okay, this topic or that I chose is, well, people didn't want to open it. Even like for A/B testing, I think it's still important to test your subject lines and see, what gets more opens. Clicks, obviously, if you should have a CTA and you should track your clicks, whether you check if it's a button that works better or an inline link. Unsubs, always check your unsubs. If something's triggering more unsubs than you would expect than of your average. So I would still say like all the key metrics are very important, and show some love to open rates.
Maybe,
They
maybe you are just naive.
Oh, I'm always no. I'm old fashioned,
Yeah,
old
exactly.
school.
I
I
wanted
like
that. Probably we are this old fashioned email
old school
marketing guys.
generation.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think they're very important. The opens, still. Just don't take it for like 100% accuracy. Look at the trends and what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the looks of the email, like you said, that those emails in financial markets sometimes can be like dry and boring. Do you use more text or pictures in those emails, or both?
Well, I would say in general, if we took all the trigger transactional and all the emails, I'd say there's more text than images. But if we're sending a newsletter, then it's going to be a good combination of both, for sure. So it depends on the content you're sending. If it's a transactional confirmation, you don't need to be very full of image. Just people want to make sure that the data is there that they're looking for. But if you're sending, you're talking about family financials, then yeah, you have some fun with some visuals that match the topic you're talking about.
I think I heard that in Poland you are not allowed to use money on the pictures of financial services. Are there some kind of similar regulations in the States as well?
Yeah, you should be careful when you're showing cash in general in your images wherever you are, on Facebook or social media platforms. Showing cash will probably, you'll look spammy, and
Okay.
in social media probably won't even pass to kind of launch your post. For emails, I don't like, there isn't, you don't have to not use them, but I think it's better not to use cash. But you'll probably see a lot of like payday loans, right? That's their thing, that's their product, the money right now, right? So that's how they probably advertise it, like money hand, you're good to go.
Or
When
piggy banks?
piggy banks, yes, piggy banks. We
And
love
probably the
piggy
most
banks.
better subject line is free money now.
Oh, yes. Good thing that we don't really have the spam words anymore. Because like 10 years ago, that would have never made it to an inbox. But
is it like, I remember we did with you probably
spam
5 years
words.
ago the Spam Wars article. Don't Google looking about it anymore?
I think it's changed so much. I
But the
think
free
spam
free
words.
Viagra and sex porn XXX, I think this is working anyway. It goes straight to the spam then.
Uh, Depends on your engagement with these emails,
Yeah, okay.
channel.
And, I
How
mean, if
often are
there's
you opening them?
spammers.
So it it's, I think there's so much more now than just words you're using. It's how are people opening it, if your code is clean, all these things that are taken into account. So like, I used to avoid, oh, click here. Ooh, such a spammy phrase previously. And
Okay.
now you're like, all good. It's, if you have a good sending reputation, then spam, adding free, and, then it's not a big deal for sure. But if you are, your sending reputation is rocky or, pretty poor, then I'd say, be careful, because that, might be a thing that could help, if you watch your words in an email. But I'd say if you're a good sender, you have good engagement, you could use the words that we were avoiding previously.
But as a financial services provider, as you said, you have those long footers with disclaimers, which also can look sometimes a bit spammy because you are sending the same content over and over and over again. How do you keep your reputation high?
Well, it's all about, sending regularly and maintaining your good open click rates, that engagement. So, whom you're sending, what you're sending. So emails could be, the opens could be as high as 80% if you're sending, something that, is very targeted and very relevant. So it doesn't necessarily need to be very marketing-y, promotional content. It could be this dry, as we say, content that has to be sent, but people are expecting it. So a good mix of both will keep it. And for good reputation, of course, make sure you watch your unsubs and spam complaints and your customer likes and dislikes.
What do you think about the tactic of using different domains for different emails in financial services? For example, you use one domain for triggered emails and one for marketing campaigns.
Well, that is a good question, because I've been pondering about it. Like, is it worth separating your trigger sends from your marketing domain, right? There are pros and cons, I think, for having it done, because you want your transactionals to be received, but will you maintain the volume that's required for that? How many of those transactions are you sending to keep that reputation, if it's not a shared domain, going? Like, it's not just like, I'm going to buy a domain and send 300 a day and it's going to work. You're risking a lot more. Like, these 300 may not end up, where you want them to be. So, if you're confident that you can pull it off, it could work. I personally, as a consumer, don't want, my, companies that I interact with to do that. Let's say if I want to unsubscribe, I don't want to see, like, example Amazon, right? You'll see so many different Amazon domains that are being used, and or something you don't subscribe, and there's some different category from a different domain, and you're like, again. Yeah, so there's pros and cons. If you can pull it off and you feel like, you really want to separate, and there's a need in your audience to have it separated, all the marketing stuff from all the, transactional, and you can maintain it, it's probably worth it. But if not, then it's better if you don't.
Yeah, it is actually pretty difficult because you should be handling the unsubscribes from both ends then. So
And
Exactly.
probably as I'm a consumer, if I will get like if we are talking like the real domain names, and one it's like one and the other is absolutely something other, and it from other hand he has to represent the same company, maybe it's gonna be a little bit like confusing why they are doing this. Is it there something catchy behind it?
Yeah, true. Like, is it a phishing domain? Like, I'm used to, let's say, email dot to kind of copy paste an
Exactly.
email in ways until everybody's kind of like, oh, who sent this? Where did it come from? But yeah, it could look spammy, but I think if you're just separating your transactional, so like password change requests and I don't know, OTP verification, emails, if you have the volume, that's okay, because these aren't like these emails people don't opt out of, and even if they've opted out, they still want to receive a password change link, right? So if your reputation for your marketing domain is wobbly, and that may impact your delivery of your transactional email, then maybe consider if you know that you'll be able to maintain that other domain for just solely transactional ones, then that could be a good idea.
When we talked with you about this podcast, so how you will actually, I want to ask, can you share some successful examples? But from the other hand, I want to ask, how you measuring the success? We have talked like huge amount about conversion, etc., etc., etc. But and the opens, you like your good opens, I understand. So how you actually measuring the success of those campaigns? And after that,
yeah, that's a good question. I think every email should have a goal, right? So it's a specific goal that you're not sending it just to, oh, I need to fill my calendar, I'm gonna send 5 campaigns just because I want more emails.
but
You have a
actually,
reason.
why not? You probably you don't know this logic that if you are sending one email and it brings to $1,000, then if you are sending 10 emails, then it's gonna bring you $10,000.
Oh no, you're gonna be rich, Daniel.
Exactly.
Oh, I wish. Would that be nice? Always look like how many people are you gonna lose by the 4th email you're gonna send.
Yeah, okay, exactly. But actually, if you are thinking how many companies actually have this goal, yeah, if we are talking about e-commerce, there is direct selling. Buy this product, click here, put it to the cart, and pay the money.
Yeah.
But if you have this type of companies, they're sending product updates, service updates, news, etc., etc. And in some moment, probably you just have to send those emails, because if you are not in the picture, then maybe
somebody else will take the
yeah.
True,
Or I'm wrong.
No, you aren't wrong in the sense that it's so busy in our inboxes. So if you don't send and you're not visible, as you say, somebody else will take the spot, and the inbox is going to be full anyways, with or without your email. But if you are sending that many emails, you have to make sure that you segment well. You have a preference center for people to opt out from content they don't want. So let's say if you're sending a newsletter about a specific topic, constantly you're promoting, I don't know, baby products and gadgets. So if the focus shifts, your customers are not interested in baby products anymore, let them show you that please stop sending, otherwise you're going to be losing a lot of people. But yeah, I think segmentation and capturing the preferences is key if you are a frequent sender. And they're different companies, different industries have different frequencies that they should follow, I think. So if you're targeting in a space that is very busy, e-commerce, that you have a lot of competition and they're all full on email every day, you have to be either very different so that they know, oh, I'm waiting for this because I know their emails are amazing. But if you're on par with your competitors, you have to kind of probably follow the trend, or you'll fall behind, unfortunately.
Okay, let's get back to the measuring the success.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
measuring
told
tape.
everybody has the goal.
Yes, every
But,
email should have a goal, and you measure that based on that. So let's say if I am sending a sales email, so I'm going to be looking for leads and and conversions. Maybe if from Spring Financial, I'm looking at people who got funded and who got maybe who didn't pass the requirements, right? So you kind of look at different ways, and maybe that will tell you of how to better segment your next email. Let's say if this product may not be qualified for a part of your audience, so offer them something else. Love my opens. So whatever email you send, you look at your opens. 10% versus 40% is a big difference.
Exactly.
0.1% click rate versus 2% click rate. It's a big difference. So, if you have several topics in your email, 2 blog posts, 2 different topics, where do people click? What is the more interesting topic? So my goal is to educate you about, let's say, a credit card. Did I do my, did you read it? If you have read time, obviously that's even better. You can say, okay, more than 10 seconds, yay, 2 seconds, aw. But also, if my goal is to get you on a page to read more and maybe another blog post about it, that is my goal. That's not necessarily a sales, action at the end, but more of an educational. Maybe I'm sending an email to follow me on social media. We're on socials, this is our content. My goal is to grow my social media audience. So that's how I measure my success. Did my numbers change on social media? Did I get more, interactions there? Sharing, forwarding, referrals, right? There are a lot of goals and a lot of ways that you could measure that, your success. So it doesn't have to be sales all the time.
You wanted to ask, and I interrupted.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry. I didn't write it down this time.
But
that's okay.
Can you tell? I wanted to ask the examples also. Some extremely well performed campaign, but you are extremely proud.
Well, I'm proud of my financial calendar email that I mentioned before. It's awesome. I know it's not super sexy, but
strategical goes like whole year, different things.
It's the way it looks, it's so modern, and we're moving away from the blocky, diagonal section splitters, and not necessarily a block. It's different look and feel. More and more, try emojis in your content. More and more emojis. It's not, emoji doesn't have to be in a subject line. You can do thumbs up instead of your bullets, right? Good check marks. There are other things that you can try and make it not, less dry and more engaging, depending on whom you're sending to. Maybe another example is our journey about, it's an educational journey again, about how to build and maintain your credit score. So if you are looking for a product in the financial services industry, your credit score is crazy important, right? So if you want to get a mortgage, your credit score. If you're looking for a credit card, how about your credit score? If you are, talking to a bank about, line of credit, so what's your credit score like, right? So it all ends up there. So unfortunately, there are things that that impacts your credit score negatively. Or if you are a new person, new immigrant, newcomer in a country, starting from scratch, right? Then we moved from London to Canada. We started from zero, no credit score, and you're like, okay, and you want to, let's say, buy a car, and not with cash, but you want to kind of, and it's so much more difficult to start, or build up your credit score, but there are ways to do that, and you might not necessarily know them. So we've built out this journey that throughout the year, it's not spammy. Once a month, maybe you get this email, do this. This will help you, or don't do that. Look at your, spend, and it's not creepy personalized. It's more of like, I'm here to kind of hold your hand and lead you through this financial journey and help you build your credit score, because we believe that you will be able to get this to that level and get those financial products that you deserve. The open rates are great. People appreciate those emails.
And then let's add some creepy disclaimer. But anyway,
Yeah, you
beware.
may or may not.
If you
I
are
know.
buying any more some PlayStation 5,
Don't buy
so
lottery tickets.
yeah.
Yes,
Actually,
unfortunately, you'll have disclaimers in any email.
actually, interesting thing what you said, and I was like amazed, or I thought that, wow, it's so different what you are telling now and what I'm reading and what all the studies, papers, whatever saying, or is this the difference between Europe and States and Canada?
Okay, which particular thing is creeping you out?
Emojis in the email.
Emojis in email.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it depends on, again, on whom you're sending your emails to. If your tone of voice is official and I am, very formal, so my happy face emoji will not go well in there, right? But if you're targeting, let's say, Gen Z, you need to be able to talk to them and kind of say, don't, like, budget. Yes, do this. Yes, call me. Yes. Like, if you have questions, chat. Like, emojis, they serve a purpose. Like, don't fill the space with emojis. Like, if you're sending that, emojis placed very tactically throughout the content will, look good, I think, in an email. Unfortunately, it's hard to measure it, like, unless you do A/B test on clicks with emoji, without emoji. Your CTA could maybe, if it works, you could have a heart on Valentine's Day, like, buy this or look for Valentine's Day products and have a heart and without a heart. Do an A/B test, see which one gets more clicks.
Interesting.
But yeah,
we have to try it.
Yes, I'll write it down.
try it. Mm-hmm.
So, your question.
Sorry, I'm writing down.
Yeah, because I understand this thing. What was in emojis in the subject line, that some point it was like going uptrend, use it, and then it started like don't use it. It's like overused. Now it's increasing your open rates, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, but it's all like, don't look at the papers, look at your company. Like, does it work for you? Run some A/B tests, with or without, several times. Then you will get to draw your own conclusions about your particular audience, because somebody else's audience may be different to what your recipients. Of course, it wasn't cool at one point you open your Gmail promo tab and every single email will have
Emojis,
colorful emojis, whatever.
Especially on
like
Black Friday,
all the
everything
range.
black hearts.
And it's just like, yeah, and you really?
Yes.
Then you're gonna look for one without it, and you're like, okay. So it could do more harm than good. But
yeah, interesting thing what you said, that use more your company experience, or how it's worked for your company, because from one hand everybody waited every year that, all right, when those will publish their benchmarks, etc., etc. And it was like week ago when I read some in LinkedIn, some very well-known email marketing guru said that actually all those benchmarks are crap.
Well, yes, if we go back, I don't know, 7-10 years ago, we were eagerly awaiting for these reports, that yearly report that would say the open rates for your vertical or your sector is this, and you'd like, what is mine? I need to compare if I'm on par. I'm better. It's like, yes, it's like a big deal. It used to be a big deal. You don't take it as literal as it was before. Like, okay, this is industry. Now you see, okay, that not everybody is in that industry. You may be on this little niche within this big industry, or this industry is usually more of B2C that will get more opens, and you're in this little section of B2B that will never be on par with the big brands of 50% open rates, and you used to feel bad, why don't I get those, good open rates? If the industry says they are on this and I'm not on par, then am I doing well enough? And nowadays it's all unique. It's your company, it's your audience. We're all different. You're targeting your customers and your recipients. Your recipients may be reading your emails 5 minutes. Even if like only 20% of them open, but they spend their time and they read. Maybe people open 50%, they will just skim it and they're like, and that's what you get. So I think it's very, very important to make sure that you understand your customer.
Do you still follow your competitors as well? Or actually, is it even safe to follow your competitors in financial field?
Well, that's a good question. You should, right? If you can, you should watch what others are doing in your space. Like even Wise, right? You mentioned their rebrand, their new brand colors, their tone of voice. You won't get inside and see, okay, what is their tracking? Like you could, though, you check your UTMs on their links. What are they tracking? Like if you were on the creepy level of tracking, like what others are doing. But if, it's harder in financial services because it's not everywhere you'll be able to opt in to receive the emails, because a lot of them will be, maybe you've applied, you're a customer, you get to their mailing list through other means than, online opt-in form. So it's more difficult. If I was, in e-com, I would like sign up to my newsletter and then I'd sign up, to big brands and you kind of follow them. In financial services, it's more difficult, but I'd still recommend always keep an eye on what are others doing. And plus there are platforms like Really Good Emails and others that you could like see what others are doing, get some inspiration, not necessarily from like your niche, but yeah, I think it's definitely worth like keeping up with what others are, what's working for them.
Good. We have actually been talking for quite a while now. So usually as the last question, future, no. You want to ask about the future too? Okay, ask about the future then.
What do you think? I remember we did like 4 years ago this article about the future of email marketing, that Alexa and all those guys will read it and you don't have open it, etc., etc. What do you think now?
In general, or in financial services? So both. It's two kind of different things. Maybe if we start from financial services, I think it's going to be a little bit different because financial services is usually a few years behind other industries and trendiness and technology and personalization levels and things like that. But I do think there's going to be more and more automation, which is great, removing manual labor for email sending. You can be more targeted, have better journeys. AI is a big thing, but I still feel financial services is only dipping their toes in AI just because of all the privacy concerns and regulations. AI doesn't mean ChatGPT, but things like send time optimization, personas that AI can help digest and kind of help you create meaningful segments of what your customers are like. Maybe they're in the win back stage, or maybe they are their frequency is not right. So AI can kind of help you measure that and adjust it. So I think maybe more and more companies will jump on that because more ESPs are also offering it. So the accessibility of that is better. But if we talk about the blog post about the future, and we talk about Alexa, and I think e-readers are, is one thing. People are reading emails, read the email, but there are things like, Google annotations that kind of help this advancement, right? So where you can annotate your email and you'll have this nice carousel of images, right? Potentially show up. And this means if you click on that carousel, you're going to bypass the email itself. You're going to go to the page, unfortunately. So it's bad for an email marketer because they won't see the content you're writing. But your annotation was so great that they clicked on it and ended up on the landing page right away. So it's the landscape is changing. So, and if annotations, are gonna hit, be a big hit, I think more and more like email providers will be looking at how to enhance their inboxes. Maybe Yahoo will jump on it. Outlook is changing too from this, word based. The new Outlook is becoming nicer and more friendlier. So I think there's change to come for sure.
Okay, I had my future question.
Okay. So we need to start to wrap it up a bit. Otherwise, we would be talking
You missed
for
your
more.
holidays.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's too.
four more hours.
4 more hours, yes. But what are those 3 most important things that everybody should be doing in email marketing in financial sector?
Become best friends with your compliance officers. That's one. Maybe 2, in all seriousness, watch your data and accuracy and privacy. That's key. You don't want, it could have bad, consequences if you don't. And I'd say I'd be controversial on this. Try different content. Even if you were a big brand, try some fresh ideas and help financial services email marketing that go to that next level. I think, but also make sure your compliance officer reviews your emails. Whatever you have an idea, but have it presented in a way that doesn't that works for the industry. So maybe
All right.
that.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Usually, I also try to tell 3 things that I learned from you that nobody else has said before.
Ooh.
Interesting for you as well? Yes. The first thing that nobody else has told us before is that key metric, use reading time as a key metric. This is actually a pretty cool goal, and nobody else that we have talked to before hasn't actually pointed it out. So this was really interesting, and thank you for that. Then the other thing that you pointed out was that pictures which have cash on them are being seen as spammy. So I also think that this is important for many people out there that don't use those pictures in emails. And thirdly, what is really good that you pointed out is that try to become friends with your customers in a way that you actually teach them and help them so that you actually give something useful for them, because then you are actually, people want to read your emails. And I think this is really important.
And here I thought you'd say, love your open rate.
Oh, okay. Love your open rates.
Love your open rates.
That's
exactly.
an extra one.
And emojis. Don't forget emojis. Try out different,
this is actually a great idea. We will try it with our next smiley newsletter.
Yeah, I already drew it on here. I don't think you can see it, but yeah.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Awesome.
So thank you. Have a nice day, because here it's evening, there it's early morning.
Early morning.
And I hope we will see maybe next year in live. We actually want to do our email marketing, masters of email marketing, like real live event.
Yes, it's the webinar that we usually are doing.
Yeah. So maybe.
Okay, I'll check my calendar.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
have
you.
fun.
Ciao.
Bye.